I never thought I would leave my mom, dad, and sister standing outside in the freezing cold air of Aspen, Colorado. They were shaking in the 14-degree weather, and I was warm inside by my own fireplace, drinking fancy Opus 1 wine. But that is exactly what happened only 15 minutes after my sister Zephyra pushed me in the lobby of a super expensive 5-star hotel. I fell and the old Cartier watch my grandma gave me cracked across the glass. Zephyra did not say she was sorry. She laughed. She said I fell on purpose just so people would think I was the victim. My parents laughed with her like it was a funny joke. But their smiles disappeared very fast when I whispered to the hotel manager, "Do not give them back any money. I will pay the whole price. But make sure their room keys never work." I wanted them to see the rooms they wanted but not be able to go inside. I paid the whole $39,000 for the trip myself. $25,000 was only for the rooms. Cost a lot, but I did not care. The price for my freedom was a broken watch and a lot of money. I did not regret it at all. Before I continue, don't forget to subscribe and join the awesome community. Drop a comment below to tell me where you're watching from. Now I will tell you how everything happened before that moment. My name is Amalthea Voss. People see me as the owner of Voss Design Group. I am an architect who just made a lot of money from a big deal. But to my family, I am only the person who pays for everything. The only reason I gave them money for 10 whole years was because of a promise to my grandma before she died from cancer. She held my hand and put her old Cartier watch on my wrist. She said, "Amalthea, you are the strong one. Promise you will keep the family together until your parents get old." So I paid Zephyra's car, paid my parents' money problems, and let them live for free in one of my homes. I wore the watch every single day, so I remembered my job to help them. I always felt the watch on my arm. It was heavy, but I was used to it. The watch hands moved, time kept going, and I worked many long nights just to keep giving them money even when they treated me like a wallet, not a person. For my parents' 35th anniversary, I paid everything so we could all go to Aspen. It cost $39,000. I booked the plane, the hotel, nice dinners, everything. I wanted to do something kind. I hoped maybe my family would finally be nice to me like they were to Zephyra. On the airplane, I bought first-class seats for everyone. The seats smelled like leather and fancy perfume. I sat by the window thinking about hotel check-in, checking emails and papers for our trip. I prepared everything perfectly. A flight worker came with sparkly champagne in pretty glasses. Before I could take one, Zephyra grabbed it away. She was recording a video for her social media. She said, "Drink water, Amalthea. Your face turns red and looks bad on camera." She did not look at me. She held the champagne for her video, pretending to drink it, but she would never really drink it. Zephyra never ate or drank things unless she could make money from photos. And there I sat with nothing. My mom sat in front of us and opened a gift Zephyra gave her. A Dior silk scarf, soft and gray with fancy edges. Mom smiled like Zephyra gave her treasure. "Oh Zephyra, you are so kind. You have such good taste," she said. She put the scarf around her neck, smiling for her phone. Then she said, "Amalthea is rich but boring. She never buys gifts with love like Zephyra." Her words hurt like a rock. I paid for this whole trip, their house, their bills, but I was the one without heart. Then my phone buzzed. American Express message. $850 spent at the Dior store. The card used was my card. Zephyra bought the scarf for Mom with my money and took the praise for it. And Mom said I never buy with love. Zephyra filmed herself smiling, saying she was living in luxury. I just sat there quietly. Then the flight worker came back. Her name was Lyra. She saw everything that happened. She whispered kindly, "Miss Voss, do you want me to bring you a fresh drink?" She didn't have to be nice, but she was. I shook my head no. My voice sounded empty. I put on headphones and closed my eyes. Outside, the clouds looked soft and white. I wasn't angry yet. I was tired, disappointed. The watch kept ticking, counting down to the moment I would understand that some promises should not be kept. When we landed, the cold outside hit like needles. It was 14 degrees and felt like winter was punching my face. We waited for our bags. Zephyra recorded another video. "Just landed in Aspen," she said to her phone. I went to the bathroom. The airport bathroom looked like a fancy spa. My hands were under cold water when I suddenly heard Zephyra's voice from a stall. She said quietly on the phone, "I need to use the master suite at the Little Nell. It has a bathtub with mountain views. I have a contract for pictures with a lingerie brand. If I don't post the photos by Monday, they will make me pay money I don't have. The bathroom lighting is perfect. I already promised them pictures in that exact room. I stood still. She never asked me for that room. She planned to take the best one before we even arrived. She made work deals with my room like it belonged to her. I dried my hands. I looked in the mirror. I looked tired, like someone who worked too hard for people who didn't care. Zephyr came out and saw me. He jumped a little. "Amalthea, you scared me. How long were you here?" I said I was just washing my hands. She just shrugged and put on lip gloss. "I'm getting spa treatments every day." "You booked them, right?" she asked. "I booked everything," I said. "Perfect," she smiled. We reached the hotel in a black car I paid for. The Little Nell looked like a magical winter palace. Big stone walls, huge windows, and warm fires. The lobby had tall ceilings, shiny marble, and bright chandeliers. The manager, Mr. Caius, was waiting. He shook my hand because he knew I was the one paying. "Welcome, Miss Voss," he said. 4 room keys lay on the desk. Zephyr rushed toward the key with the label Master Suite. But I grabbed her wrist. "No, Zephyr," I said. "You didn't pay for this trip. The Master Suite is mine." Her face changed fast. The fake smile disappeared. "Don't be selfish. You don't even take pictures." "I need that room," she yelled. I said, "That's not my problem. Give me the key." She grabbed my bag and tried to steal the keys. We pulled back and forth. People stared. Her nails scraped the leather. Then she smiled, mean and sharp. She let go on purpose and pushed me. I slipped on the shiny floor. My wrist hit a marble column. I fell hard. I looked at my watch. The glass wasn't smooth anymore. It was broken like a spider web. I sat on the floor staring at my broken watch. The Cartier watch my grandma gave me, the one she put on my wrist before she died, was shattered. My heart felt heavy, but I also felt free. I had been carrying responsibility for my family for 10 years, and finally I could see clearly. Zephyr looked shocked for a moment, and Mom and Dad froze. But then they started to laugh. They thought it was funny. But I wasn't angry. I was done. I got up slowly, dusting my dress. My wrist hurt, my pride hurt, but I felt strong inside. I went over to the hotel manager. I whispered, "Do not refund their rooms. I will pay the full price. But make sure their key cards never work. I want them to see the rooms they can't enter." The manager nodded. He understood exactly what I meant. He had worked at luxury hotels for a long time and knew how to handle families who caused drama. He said quietly, "Consider it done, Miss Voss." I walked past my family and up to my own room. My fireplace was crackling. I poured a glass of Opus One wine and sat down. I finally felt warm, comfortable, and free. I could hear my family outside trying their keys and looking frustrated. I didn't feel bad. I had done everything for them for years, and this was the first moment I put myself first. My parents were outside shivering. Zephyr was knocking on her door, filming herself for her social media story. "Why won't it work? What's going on?" she yelled. I just smiled inside. The wine was perfect. The fire was perfect. The room was perfect. And I realized sometimes keeping a promise to someone else can be a trap if it means letting other people treat you badly. I remembered Grandma's words, "You are strong." I was strong. I had worked hard, I had loved them, I had done everything right. But they never noticed. That didn't matter anymore. I had learned something important. I could take care of myself. As I sipped my wine, I looked at the mountains outside the window. Snow covered the peaks like a blanket. The sun was just setting and the light was soft and golden. For the first time in 10 years, I smiled for myself. I didn't need anyone else to approve. I had my freedom, my strength, and even though my wrist hurt, I felt more alive than ever. My family could see the rooms, but they couldn't enter. They could see the luxury, but it wasn't theirs. And in that moment, I understood something big. Love and kindness are not about money. They are about respect and care. My family had never respected me, so I didn't owe them anything anymore. I closed my eyes, listening to the fire crackle, the cold wind outside, and my heart beating steadily. The broken watch didn't hurt me. It reminded me that time moves on, that responsibilities can be heavy, but choosing yourself is sometimes the best thing you can do. And that is how I, Amalthea Voss, finally felt free in Aspen, Colorado, while my family learned a lesson about respect, love, and what it really means to care for someone. When the glass broke, it shattered everywhere. Tiny pieces flew across the lobby, sparkling like tiny diamonds in the light. Some even landed on my shoes, crunching under my steps. The clock under the glass was ruined. Its Roman numbers, once crisp and perfect, were scratched by the sharp edges of the broken glass. The blue hands of the clock, which had always looked so elegant and shiny, were bent in weird angles and stopped completely. The time frozen on the clock was 4:25 p.m. That was the exact moment everything went wrong, the exact moment the world seemed to stop for me. Tiny bits of glass sparkled as they fell onto the cold, hard marble floor. They looked beautiful, almost magical, but in truth they were cruel and dangerous. For a long moment I couldn't breathe. The ringing in my ears was so loud, it drowned out everything else. My heart was pounding in my chest like a drum that wouldn't stop. My watch, the one I had worn every single day for 10 years, was broken. The little symbol of a promise I had worked so hard to keep was gone, destroyed forever. I looked up slowly at Zephyra. Zephyra, of course, was not scared. She wasn't even a little bit sorry. She rolled her eyes so dramatically, it was as if she was performing for an invisible audience somewhere far away. "Oh my, you are so clumsy," she said, laughing in that loud, showy way she always used to make people notice her. "I didn't even touch you. You threw yourself on the floor just to act like a victim. Stop being a martyr and give me the key." Her words cut through the chaos like knives, sharp and cold. Then my mom's voice rang out. "Amalthea, get up. Don't embarrass the family." She looked around at the guests who were staring at us, people we didn't even know. She wasn't upset with Zephyra at all. She was upset at me. I was the one making a scene, she thought. "It's just an old watch. You can buy a new one," she said, her voice sharp, almost dismissive. "Just an old watch. My grandmother had given me that watch when I was 10 years old. It was the last gift she ever gave me. She had told me to take care of it and to remember the promise we had made together. That watch was the symbol of my promise. I had carried it on my wrist every single day for 10 long years. Just an old watch," my mother said. Something inside me broke wider than the glass had. Before I could even take a step, Mr. Caius appeared at my side. He was tall, calm, and serious, and he had 2 large security guards with him. Their presence was sudden, strong, and commanding. They didn't speak to my family. They didn't ask Zephyr what had happened. Their attention was completely on me. "Miss Voss," Mr. Caius said quietly, holding out his hand to help me up. His grip was steady and professional, comforting in a strange way. "Are you injured?" I let him pull me to my feet. My wrist hurt a lot where it had hit the column, but nothing seemed broken. Just bruised. Just shattered. "I'm fine," I said almost automatically, my voice trembling a little even though I tried not to show it. "Our high-definition cameras in the lobby recorded everything," Mr. Caius continued, speaking quietly so that only I could hear. He gestured to the discrete cameras in the corners of the ceiling. "I have told security to save the footage in our legal safe. If your lawyer needs it for assault charges, it is ready." The words camera and lawyer hung in the air like a huge ticking bomb. I watched as the color drained from Zephyr's face. Her mouth opened and then closed. For once she had nothing to say. But of course she didn't say sorry. She just stood there hoping I would do what I always did. Pretend it didn't happen, smooth everything over, pay for the damage and forgive her. She thought I would be the safe, reliable one, the one who always let her get away with everything. I looked down at the broken watch. Tiny shards of crystal still clung to the edges, catching the light from the chandelier above. The hands were frozen at 4:25 p.m., the exact moment the promise shattered along with the glass. My grandmother had asked me to keep the family together. But she had never met this version of my family. This version laughed when I fell, when I got hurt. This version took until there was nothing left of me but an open wallet and a broken watch. "The promise is broken," I whispered quietly, my voice colder and clearer than it had ever been. "Thank you, Mr. Caius. Keep that video safe. Don't show it yet. My lawyer will be in touch." Zephyr's eyes went wide with shock. "Amalthea, don't be dramatic," she said, almost like a warning. "Step back, please," one of the security guards said firmly, not mean but very clear. Zephyr needed to stop talking. Then my father spoke, his voice loud and booming across the lobby. "Amalthea, this is ridiculous. Zephyr didn't mean anything by it. You're overreacting." I turned to really look at him. My father, Thorin Voss, still carried himself like he expected the world to bend to his will. He had gone bankrupt twice, failed 3 different business ventures, and was living rent-free in my apartment. But still he spoke like someone who had never faced real consequences. "Overreacting," I said slowly, letting each word land like a hammer. She destroyed an irreplaceable family heirloom and laughed about it. And I'm overreacting. It was an accident, my mother said quickly. She clutched her new expensive Dior scarf as if it could protect her from the tension that filled the lobby. Zephyr would never hurt you on purpose, my mother added. I almost laughed. Really? After 10 years of casual cruelty? After every mean comment, every time they used me for money, every time I was treated like an ATM with legs, was that not on purpose? Mr. Caius? I said, turning my back on my family completely. I would like to speak with you privately at the front desk. Of course, Miss Voss, he said politely. I walked away from them. The click of my heels on the marble floor sounded like a drumbeat of freedom. Each step felt lighter than the last, like I was shedding an invisible weight I hadn't realized I was carrying. Behind me, I heard Zephyr whisper something to my parents, but I didn't turn around. Mr. Caius led me to the far end of the front desk, away from all the other guests. A young woman working at the computer stepped aside to give us privacy. I apologize for the disturbance, Mr. Caius said quietly. You have nothing to apologize for. I set my bag down on the counter and pulled out my phone. I need to ask you something, I said, looking him straight in the eyes. And I need you to be honest. Of course, he said. If I wanted to make sure those 3 people never enter the rooms they're supposed to be staying in, could you make that happen? Mr. Caius didn't even blink. He had probably seen stranger requests from wealthy guests. The reservation is under your name, Miss Voss. You have full authority over the rooms, he said. Even though we were past the 24-hour cancellation window? Yes. If you are willing to pay for the rooms whether they are occupied or not, then the rooms are yours to do with as you please, he explained. I looked at him carefully. He understood exactly what I was asking. And he was telling me in the careful language of high-end hospitality that he would help me. How much would it cost? I asked. He typed something into the computer quickly. The 2 additional rooms for 3 nights would be approximately $14,000. Combined with your master suite and incidental charges, the full amount would be about $25,000. $14,000 to leave my family in the cold. I thought about my grandmother holding my hand in the hospital, about the promise I had made, and about my watch now broken beyond repair. Then I thought about Zephyr laughing as I fell, my mother calling me heartless while wearing an $850 scarf I had paid for, and my father telling me I was being dramatic while living rent-free in my apartment. I pulled out my American Express black card and set it on the counter. Charge the full amount, I said, my voice steady. But I only want 1 key card to work. Mine. Mr. Caius picked up the card, his expression calm and professional. Understood, Miss Voss. Will there be anything else? Yes, I said. Deactivate the other 2 key cards immediately. And if they ask why they don't work, tell them to speak with me directly. The corners of his mouth twitched, not quite a smile but close enough. I stayed at the front desk with Mr. Caius while my family hovered about 20 feet away with their luggage. They could see me talking, handing over my credit card, but they couldn't hear what I was saying. My mother kept glancing over, curious and irritated. Zephyr crossed her arms and tapped her foot impatiently. My father checked his watch every 30 seconds. Mr. Caius swiped my card with smooth efficiency. Regarding the remaining 2 rooms, he said quietly, the 24-hour cancellation policy means no refunds if you choose to cancel at this time. I looked him straight in the eyes. This was the moment, the point of no return. Mr. Caius, you misunderstand. I don't want a refund, I said. He didn't flinch. He simply waited for me to continue. Charge the full $25,000 to my American Express black card. I am happy to pay. But I want those 2 rooms to remain empty. Only my key card should work. Mr. Caius paused for exactly 3 seconds. Then he nodded with professional respect. Understood, Ms. Voss. The rooms are paid for and sealed. No one will enter. I watched the numbers flash on the screen. $25,000. Charged. Approved. Done. He handed me back my card and a single key card in a paper sleeve. Your master suite is on the 5th floor, room 512. The elevator is to your left. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Actually, yes. When they try to use their key cards and realize they don't work, what will you tell them? I will inform them that there was an issue with their reservation and direct them to speak with you, he said calmly. Perfect. I turned and walked toward the elevator where my family was already waiting with their luggage. They had clearly decided to go up without me, probably still thinking I was just handling a minor billing issue. Zephyr frantically swiped her key card against the elevator reader. Red light. She swiped again. Red. Red. This stupid elevator is broken, she snapped, hitting the reader. My mother tried her card. Red light. My father tried his. Red. I walked calmly across the shiny marble floor. My heels clicked with each step. Everyone in the lobby looked at me immediately. The elevator isn't broken, Zephyr said in an annoyed voice. Our cards aren't working. They must be broken, she added. Go ask them to make new ones. I didn't answer her. I just took out my key card and swiped it on the little reader next to the elevator. Beep. A green light flashed. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. I stepped inside the elevator all by myself. I turned around and looked at them. They were still standing in the lobby with their luggage scattered around them. Confusion was on their faces, but it was slowly turning into suspicion. It's not broken, I said calmly. I just turned off everyone's cards. The doors began to close. They stared at me through the tiny gap in the elevator doors. Then reality hit. My dad's face turned purple with anger. He tried to wedge his hand between the closing doors, but he was too slow. Click. The doors sealed shut. I pressed the button for the 5th floor and watched the numbers climb. 3. My heart was pounding, but it wasn't fear. Something else was making it beat fast. Something exciting. Something that felt powerful. Ding. The elevator arrived at the 5th floor. I stepped out into a quiet hallway. The plush carpet muffled my footsteps. Room 512 was at the very end of the hallway. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was amazing. The windows were huge, stretching from the floor all the way to the ceiling. Snow-covered mountains were visible outside. The king-size bed had white, crisp sheets. A sitting area had a fireplace and flames were already dancing. The bathroom had a giant jacuzzi tub with a view, probably costing more per night than most people paid for a whole month. I put my bag down and walked to the window. Outside, soft snowflakes were falling lazily. Skiers were tiny dots moving down the mountain slopes. The world outside was calm and beautiful. My phone started ringing. 17 missed calls. Text messages were flooding in. Mom, where are you? Dad, this is unacceptable. Come down here right now. Zephyr, are you kidding me, Amalthea? I ignored all of them and opened my banking app instead. I have an American Express account that lets me manage extra cards for my family. I pulled it up. 3 cards were listed. Aiden Voss, Isolde Voss, and Zephyr Voss. I selected all 3 cards. Click. Deactivate card. A warning popped up. Are you sure? This action will immediately cancel all purchasing power for these card holders. I clicked confirm. Done. Their cards were now completely useless. The phone started ringing again. I ignored it and called my lawyer, Alaric. Amalthea, aren't you supposed to be on vacation? He asked, sounding surprised. I need you to file a notice to end my parents' lease at their Chicago apartment, I said. There was silence on the other end. Then he asked, the apartment your parents are living in? Yes. 30-day notice. Exactly what the lease allows. I want it in writing. Certified mail. May I ask what happened? He said carefully. My sister destroyed my grandmother's watch and laughed about it, I said firmly. My parents took her side. I'm done. File the paperwork. Consider it done. Anything else? He asked. Yes. Can you put the apartment on the market? I want it listed as soon as they move out. I'll list it within the hour of their departure, he said. I hung up and poured a glass of wine. It was smooth and rich, tasting like it cost exactly what it did. I sat down in the leather chair by the fireplace and finally let myself breathe. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. Zephyr. I answered and put it on speaker. Amalthea. What is going on? Our cards aren't working, she screeched. I deactivated them about 10 minutes ago, I said calmly. You can't do that, she shouted. Actually I can, I said. They're extra cards on my account. I can turn them on or off whenever I want. But I need money. I have bills, she cried. Then use your own money, I said. I don't have a problem with that. I don't owe you anything, Zephyr. My mother is yelling through the phone, she said. Amalthea Elizabeth Voss, you stop this right now. Your father and I need those cards. How are we supposed to eat? The same way everyone else does, I said. My father is shouting, Zephyr continued. You owe us. I laughed. Actually laughed. I don't owe you anything. I paid your rent for 10 years. I cleared your debts twice. I funded your lifestyle while you criticized me for being dry and heartless. But I'm done. You can't take advantage of me anymore. You can't just kick us out. Zephyr screamed. Where are we supposed to go? I don't know, I said pleasantly. And by the way, I just got off the phone with my lawyer. We're filing a notice to end your lease Monday morning. The apartment is being listed for sale. You have 30 days to move out. There was silence on the other end. Then my mother started crying. Amalthea, please. You can't do this to us. We're family. The family doesn't destroy irreplaceable heirlooms and laugh about it. Family doesn't exploit someone for 10 years and call them selfish when they finally say no. You made your choices. I'm making mine, I said calmly. What about the hotel? My father demanded. We don't have anywhere to sleep. That's not my problem. I paid for the rooms, yes. But I paid to keep them empty. Not for you to use. Mr. Caius has been very accommodating. This is insane. Zephyr shrieked. You're being psychotic, she yelled. No, I'm being rational for the first time in a decade, I said. Oh, and Zephyr, that lingerie sponsorship you were planning to shoot in this suite? You might want to call your agent. You won't be able to deliver on that contract. Breach of contract lawsuits can be expensive, I added ice cold. I heard her gasp. She had forgotten that I overheard her in the airport bathroom. How did you? She stammered. I continued, my voice perfectly calm. I advise you all to start saving money for a moving truck. I hung up. For a moment I just sat in silence in the master suite. The fire crackled softly. Snow fell outside the windows. Then I stood up, walked to the bathroom and started running a bath in the ridiculously expensive jacuzzi tub. I caught sight of myself in the mirror. My wrist was already bruising where I had hit the column. The Cartier watch hung loose, broken. The crystal was shattered and the hands were frozen at 4:25 p.m. I carefully unclasped it and set it on the marble counter. Without it, my wrist felt lighter. Make it free. The cost of my freedom. One shattered heirloom, $39,000, and a family that never really loved me anyway. Regrets? None. Zero. Time inside the master suite wasn't measured by hours but by the rhythm of snow piling up on the balcony and the changing angle of sunlight across the mountains. For 72 hours the world outside didn't exist. I ordered room service at strange hours. Steak frites, champagne, oysters for dinner. I watched the snow accumulate through the massive windows. No manufactured crises, no guilt trips disguised as family dinners. Just me, the crackling fireplace, and a peace I hadn't felt in years. I didn't think about my family until checkout. Mr. Caius mentioned casually that they had taken a Greyhound bus to a motel 2 towns over. They didn't have enough money left for even the cheapest Aspen hotel after their shopping spree. The image of Zephyr, who once spent 20 minutes complaining about her latte foam not being Instagram-worthy, riding a bus to a roadside motel, made me smile as I sipped my coffee. The real chaos started when I returned to Chicago. My phone exploded with notifications the moment I turned off airplane mode. Texts from old college friends I hadn't spoken to in years. DMs from professional contacts. Even my hairdresser sent a concerned message. Everyone had seen Zephyr's live stream. I watched it once, my jaw clenching tighter with every word. There she was, tear-stained and trembling in that awful motel room, spinning a story about her older sister being abusive and abandoning their elderly parents in a blizzard. She even added nonsense about me being jealous of her influencer career. Comments were vicious. Strangers called me a monster. I felt the old instinct rising, the need to defend myself. To explain. To make people understand. That's what the old Amalthea would have done. I wrote a long post. Provided context. Begged for understanding. Instead, I opened my laptop and wrote exactly one email. To zephyr.voss@gmail.com cc. thorin.voss@gmail.com. isolde.voss@gmail.com subject. Legal notice. I attached the Aspen incident report, with Mr. Caius's signature and the hotel's official letterhead. One line was highlighted. Security footage confirms Ms. S. Voss initiated physical contact by grabbing Ms. G. Voss's personal property. Video evidence retained for potential legal proceedings. The eviction notice was also attached. 30 days to vacate, apartment listed for sale, residency rights terminated. I wrote one sentence: I don't argue with liars. If that defamatory video is not deleted in 10 minutes, my lawyer will subpoena the security footage from the hotel and file a lawsuit for assault and defamation. I pressed send at 6:47 p.m. The video disappeared at 6:55 p.m. I poured myself a very expensive bourbon and toasted the empty apartment. They moved out 3 weeks later. I had the locks changed the same day and put the place on the market within the week. It sold in 48 hours. Luxury apartments like that don't stay available long. Winter snow in Aspen melted long ago, replaced by the humid, vibrant heat of a Chicago summer, yet the clarity I found in that cold mountain air hasn't faded. It's been 5 months since the incident. My life now is completely different. Voss Design Group landed 2 major contracts: a boutique hotel renovation and a private residence that will be featured in Architectural Digest. I bought a south-facing house in the West Loop, all exposed brick and original hardwood floors. I renovated it exactly how I wanted. No compromises. Just clean lines flooded with natural light, a home office with custom built-ins for my drafting table. I haven't given my family the address. My parents are renting a small apartment somewhere on the north side. They text me calling me heartless and ungrateful. Aunt Seraphine sent a particularly aggressive message about how I'm abandoning my elderly parents and should be ashamed. I blocked her number. I don't feel ashamed. I feel free. But lately I've been standing at a crossroads. I genuinely don't know which path to take. Option A: maintain absolute no contact. They are adults. They made their choices when Zephyr grabbed my bag, when my mother called me an ungrateful monster, when my father stood silent in that hotel lobby. They prioritized Zephyr's feelings over basic decency toward me every single time. Option B: buy them a very small rundown condo in some distant suburb. Make sure they're not homeless but never speak to them again. Fulfill some final obligation, then walk away with a clear conscience. I keep thinking about that Cartier watch still broken in my jewelry box. I'll never repair it. But I can't throw it away either. So I'm asking you, what would you do?